Hi, Hannah.
Hello.
She's here
Hi.
again.
In
So,
lockdown with my
everybody,
cocktail.
oh, lovely. So, if you haven't already, follow Hannah as well. It's Hannah Woolmer. Her name is in the title as well.
Yes.
Great. So,
So
Hannah,
hello.
can you tell us?
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
Yeah, just tell us briefly about Stageit.
Yeah. First of all, going
Stageit.com.
to apologise to everyone. I have this knack on live streaming where I will go quiet when it's my turn to talk, but when the host is about to talk, I always talk immediately at the same time. It's a skill. It's like a super skill. If I was a superhero, that would be my
Yeah.
superpower to talk at the exact time. But yes, stage it. Tell me about my stages. So I'm a classical violinist. My stages throughout lockdown, I'm doing multiple shows, about 3 shows a week, and I'm swapping between classical crossover, which is almost like pop music, and traditional classical for
Yeah.
the audience that likes stronger, sort of more traditional classical music. On my stage shows, I'm currently doing them in my home, but they'll soon be moving to the music studio where they'll be more elaborate. But the reason
Yeah.
I like these stage it shows is because there's a unique connection with the audience. It's not better, I'd say, than live concerts, but it's definitely different. And until you witness these online concerts, it's very hard to explain. It's not the same as watching a YouTube performance. It's very
Yeah.
live, very interactive, and it's the closest thing you can, other than in the flesh, having a conversation with artists you like. This is the closest you can get to them, really.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you can you see the comments on your phone now, like
I
the viewers' comments.
cannot, no.
Oh, okay, because I on the laptop here I can see comments. So hello Trisha and Busy Mum from Scotland. So stage it is similar to that, like it's almost watching a YouTube, but it's live, and then the performer can see the comments and interact, like you said, can't they?
Yeah. I also think as a performer, because you and I have been doing these concerts for quite a while, there's a
Yeah,
different way you interact and talk with the audience. So if I'm doing a concert, say for a large concert hall or even a small live concert, you tend to be more scripted in how you decide beforehand what you're going to say, and you introduce the pieces,
yeah,
but you're talking to live people. But because of the interactive nature, a little bit like Periscope, because of the
yeah.
interactive nature of these concerts, then you can really get into very conversational talk. You can still talk about the pieces and discuss all the stuff you want to, but it becomes a lot more informal, and that's really great for classical music in particular.
Yeah, it's great, and I like as well the opportunity for musicians. You can actually build your own, like as they say, community or fan base
Yeah.
on stage it as well. So you're not always relying on like music societies and venues that would sometimes like contract you to perform.
Yeah, I would definitely use. Oh, that was my laptop's finally loading. Sorry, everyone. I should have been
Okay.
on the laptop, but it decided to do an update. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I would definitely use the language community rather than fan base. I don't know why I've always
Yeah.
get a little bit funny about saying fans, because it kind of places me there and then down there. Whereas on the stage at
Oh, I see.
concerts, it's a real community. The same people get back to see each other each time, and they're, oh hi, how are you? How are you?
Yeah.
I finished playing a piece, and
Yeah.
there's conversations about their lives, and I love that.
Yeah. And I come to most of your shows, and they have their favorite selections that you play as well, don't they? So
Yeah.
you might play the same piece, like one or two of the same tracks in each show, but they love that.
Well, yeah, I find it hard to gauge it. I when I perform, I want to do the best I can for the audience, and so I try and mix up the music a lot. But there is a few particular pieces where people are like, oh, are we not hearing that? And as soon as you play it, they're like, woo, yes. So
Yeah,
there are
it's great.
the pieces, but I want to balance that between. Oh, that's the difficult thing of lockdown, actually. If you're doing multiple concerts a week, it's a new challenge as an artist to produce new music. So if you're performing multiple concerts around the
Yeah,
UK, you play the the same program and just tour it, or you can, but similar program, a group of music. But obviously, because you've got the same-ish, it changes. But a group, your community coming to watch your concert, you always want to keep it fresh. But that's a good technique. I'm really working hard flicking through all this music. I'm currently working on Mozart sonatas and a Mozart concerto.
Yeah, that's good, because it's interesting you mentioned that, because I play on there as well, and I do 2 or 3 shows a month, so that I just give myself the space to prepare different music, and that's just the way I like to do it as well.
Well, I try and find the music that I've either played in the past that I can pick up quickly, music that is sort of quick to pick up, but at the same time you want to challenge yourself and play stuff that's impressive and interesting for the audience. So I'm learning some pieces that are extremely challenging and are going to take me ages to learn, and then I'm searching for pieces that that won't take too long to get to grasp, and and that's why the classical crossover generally classical crossover on violin is a lot a lot faster turnaround than, say, a Brahms concerto or something like that. So classical crossover is good to throw in there.
So I'm just gonna go to a couple of comments here. We've got a couple of Stageit followers here, so let's say hello to Martin H.
Oh, I just saw his comment there. Hi, Martin.
Yeah, I brought it up. Martin Hands, that is. And then we also have Edward J in the room.
Hey, hiya, blonde. It's not blondie, it's just blonde. Blonde.
And also we got Trisha here, who comes to my shows regularly on Stageit. And
when I first saw Trisha's name, I thought it was Patricia. I was thinking, has Patricia changed her her Twitter handle?
You thought it was my wife, Patricia,
yeah. Trisha. Okay. Trisha, it's like, has Patricia started calling herself Trisha? Yes, I clicked on your profile, Trisha, and it's like, okay, it's different. More than one person has that name.
Yeah, and then we got 2 more people. I've just noticed we got Roger here, who comes to our shows often, and also we got our friends and colleagues originally from Brazil, living in Portugal, Duo Bellissimo.
I followed them on Periscope today.
And she said sorry for the name as well.
Have you seen my Starbucks post? I'm not fat. It's a palindrome. I was very proud of my name.
Twitter.
Oh, so yeah. When I was 5 years old, I was so proud of my name because I found out it was a palindrome. So I really don't like the H being dropped, because it stops it being special.
So special shout out to Duo Bellissimo as well. They've just joined Stageit, and when you can go to they do a show each weekend, I believe. So if you can watch them, they're amazing as well, playing Brazilian music like Tom Jobim and other popular Brazilian songs. Yeah, they're amazing, and I love their setup as well, where they've got lots of cameras as well, so it moves around all the time. It's really cool.
Am I allowed to ask you some questions, Daniel, or is it not?
If you want.
Okay.
No, it's more of a chat, really.
Okay, it's just your home, but it's your room. What I should ask.
Okay.
You don't get invited back to a party if you don't have manners.
True.
So, what would be your advice for artists thinking? I know a lot of artists who keep on thinking about joining Stageit and then back out from it. What would be your advice on both the technical side and also the promotional side? Because I think a lot of them are scared no one's going to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, it does help if you have a following already. So fortunately, like the time I joined over 2 years ago, I've already got a lot of followers on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and then people on Stageit started following me there as well. So like, you just gotta make it an experience for people, really, and just try and get them to imagine how it's going to work as a performance. I mean, if we go on, we'll just go to the Stageit site for a second. If I bring it up here, it's just that showing on the screen. So if you've never been on Stageit, it's very simple to sign up, and you can create an account using your Facebook. So then you don't have to create a new password and everything like that. It's just one click. So it's pretty simple to join. And then if you explain that to people as well, I think that helps as well.
Yeah, and I think maybe also you shouldn't expect, you shouldn't be impatient with like anything in the world. You shouldn't be impatient. You shouldn't think, I'm going to go on Stageit, I'm going to have 2,000 people watching the concert. It won't be that much to begin with, but gradually, if you do a good show, if you're good at what you do, which all the artists I'm talking to are, then it gradually grows over time. Yeah,
definitely. And if you do the similar styles of music, whatever you do it consistently, people will get used to that routine, really, and then they'll always love to come back. Like, you do similar stuff each time, don't you?
Yeah, that's because I've been going more classical crossover. I was a bit worried about introducing back the classical, there's more serious classical music, but I felt artistically I wanted to. But I think the people who enjoy my music, I think they are sort of music lovers in the broad sense. So I think my community or tribe are people that are quite open-minded and will listen to new styles, as long as it's not too out there. I turn up like, oh god, and like, nah.
What I found works for me, like as a pianist, there's a lot of shorter pieces I can play, pieces between 3 and 5 minutes that work well, and then I might throw in something a bit longer. Sometimes it's 10 minutes as well, and I think when you get a balance of that, it's quite nice for Stageit as well.
Yeah, I am worrying because I've got some concertos I want to play. I don't think it'll fit into the full concert, and I don't know if my audience want a full concert of one piece, so I'm thinking perhaps one movement concerto or something like that.
Okay, it's interesting you say that, because as you know, I'm doing some Rachmaninoff concertos on there soon. With the music -1 CDs, and that's an experiment as well. But I'm just going to see how that goes, really, because each piece is at least like 30 minutes. Really.
So it's encore time, but it's still I'd be interested to see and to gauge what the audience feel, and it's to see if they're happy with that, or they want more variety in the concert. It would be nice. But I like sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I think some people just love to listen to the music. They don't mind about chatting, and then others like it when you get to chat in between each piece as well.
Yeah, but I was going to say, I really like the creative freedom that things like Stageit can give us. There are downsides to only performing on, it's nothing like performing to a live audience, but I like the fact that because it reduces costs and expenses and traveling and that kind of fear, you do get to be a bit more creative in your choices. You can try things out and be a bit bolder with your choices, and that's a lovely thing with online platforms for classical musicians.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing we didn't talk about yet is that the audience pay to watch you perform there, don't they? I don't know if you mentioned that.
No, I haven't.
But the good thing is, you can, as an audience member, you can select what you pay. So you can pay like $1, $2 to watch whatever you want, really. So it's a lot more accessible for people who, even if they weren't isolated, they couldn't go out to live concerts anyway for whatever reason. It just makes it live music more accessible that way as well.
Yeah, Stageit give you the artist the option of choosing their price for tickets. So we could put a set price, but most artists on there do pay what you can, and the audience member gets to choose the price. Some artists also, they're worried about doing an online concert and charging money for it, because there's so many free platforms like YouTube, but it is a completely different experience. And second of all, I do believe that it's respectful to this is our jobs, and I think it's respectful to pay something to go when a musician, when they're putting themselves out. If you think about it, if someone gave you a lift somewhere, you'd offer them petrol money. And so I think it's respectful to pay for the experience. However, I love the community spirit of Stageit, that you can choose your price, and people who have a little bit of excess money, they've got a bit of money to spare that month, they can pay a bit more. People who are finding it hard can pay a bit less. And there's also the hitch a ride option. So you really want to see someone, you're not doing well financially, you're not going to be judged for that. You can hitch a ride and someone else will pay for the ticket. It means the artist gets paid, but you get to watch the music without having to break the bank. So that's really lovely.
Yeah, and I think I found that years ago, like getting over that, it's a psychological thing where you're scared of asking people to pay to listen to you, or you're not sure if people would. I think
it's the online thing. I mean, no one would be scared about charging tickets for a real concert. It's because online has grown so quickly now that but it feels a bit, because we were never trained to perform online. We've never been trained in what to do in this situation. We've had to learn ourselves, but we almost feel it's not real, and so it is a psychological thing. But it is the future. Online's not going anywhere. The internet's not going anywhere. The only thing that's going anywhere is the fact that you can't hug people anymore.
Yeah, that's sad.
And no mojitos for her.
But I would say, though, to any musicians who are a bit still on the fence about it, once that first person buys a ticket to your show, then you'll be like, oh, people actually want to support, and they value what you do as a musician. So you just got to make sure, like this goes without saying, make sure you do the best show you can, because it's totally live and there's no recording or replays on stage. It's just a totally live experience, isn't it?
And treat the concert with respect. A lot of people, I think, they think it's going to be like a Periscope or like live streaming to buddies on Facebook. I won't name, but some people I know who are very big musicians, they feel it's a case of going on like wearing a pair of shorts and just doing a few songs or whatever. But people expect it's a paid concert, so people expect a production. I mean, it doesn't have to be a show with all like smoke and everything, but they do expect an effort to be made. They expect you to be punctual. They expect you to be appropriately dressed. I mean, I choose evening gown. You don't. I mean, I'm a bit over the top with that one. We can all choose our style for. We could choose our style for Stageit. You decide what you want to do, but it should be a production and a performance. But it can be tailored online. The other thing, I was going to say one other thing. Oh yes, here's a tip for artists. Many artists I know who've done Stageit once and never gone again, they're a little bit embarrassed. They didn't tell any friends or family or people, supporters of their music. They're a bit like, well, if it works out well, then I'll tell them next time. And then no one turned up to their concert because they didn't tell anyone. And really, the first people you should tell is your friends, your family, people who love your music, attend your concerts, buy your music, because these are the people who will get in there and watch the concert to begin with, while the rest of are thinking about going to your show.
Definitely. And in the very beginning as well, one thing I did do was actually give some people a free ticket to the shows. And then after because for some people, I think they need to experience it first to really know what it's like. See, like Busy Mum here, she says, Stageit has come to its own. I'd never heard of it until very recently. So
Yeah,
obviously, like, yeah, more
sorry.
people are at home now, so there's been a lot more people signing up to Stageit in the last 2 months as well.
I can't. I mean, I feel that I hate to say it, and no one wants me to say it, but I feel concert halls and theatres may not go back for quite a while. Some of the big ones
Yeah,
because the seating is still too close together, or if they do, people have to be further apart. But will they make a profit then? So
yeah,
this
yeah,
is absolutely great. And yeah, Roger came on purely through lockdown.
yeah, definitely. And for musicians, really, now is the time to get on Stageit if you haven't yet, because people are joining all the time, I've found. So
Yeah.
they'll be looking through the list of shows, and then if you stand out, which is a good idea anyway, then they will check you out, and if they want to come, they'll get a ticket, and so on.
But the free tickets, I think that it's a great idea. I still do them
Yeah,
from time to time. If someone's not sure, yeah, here's a free ticket. I mean, not all the time to the same person, but try it once. And shops do that all the time, don't they? They do free samples, and it's
yeah,
a regular business practice, really. You're not sure? Come along and watch and see if you like it.
yeah. Because ultimately we getting paid is nice, but we just love to perform at the end of the day, don't we? And then if someone can get that, and then they enjoy it, then they'll come back and buy a ticket.
Well, that's always the conundrum. I was talking to Bradley about it yesterday, Bradley Whitedale. It's
Oh yeah, yeah,
every musician and artist, before it was a job, it was their hobby and passion. And so
yeah,
to it's very hard for artists to switch onto a business head when it comes to this, because they're very emotionally involved
yeah,
in their art.
yeah,
And deep down we would just play for nothing. We would just, but at the same time we know we've got to pay bills. So but
yeah,
we would just do it for the love of it. We're all amateurs deep down, aren't we? We just do it for the love of it.
yeah. And like you and myself, we've done performances free online before, like on the music train that used to be on
Yeah,
Periscope. So that
yeah.
was kind of like a training before we got on to stage it, like more
Mm,
regularly, I think.
yeah. I do think that online performances need a bit of training and practice, because you don't learn it
Yeah,
at a conservatoire. There's no one teaching musicians this sort of thing. So it is a trial and error
yeah.
kind.
Because
Could
they
you,
do they do. I'm sorry.
no, you carry on. I was going to change subject, so you carry on. I'll segue
No, I was just
later
going
on.
to say, like, when a conservatory does a live stream, it's usually just the tech crew are streaming it, but it's not the musicians, because they're just doing their concert with a live audience, but they're
Yeah,
not doing any of the technical stuff, are they?
they're broadcasting a concert that is for a live audience, but we're not
Yeah,
trained to perform for an online audience, which I feel is a completely different thing, really. And I found I
yeah,
have on stage in the past broadcast my actual live concerts, and it's never as popular. They
yeah,
don't. There's not a lot of interaction. People haven't enjoyed it. I was experimenting a couple of years ago, because what people, I believe, let me know if I'm wrong, everyone out there, I believe people like that interaction with the audience. They don't want to
yeah.
voyeuristic watch you perform for another set of people. They want you to perform for them.
Well, let me show you this comment. Martin says,
Yes, I agree with that. I think the show should
so
be interactive. That's the big advantage over real concerts. I agree. There are great advantages for in the flesh live concerts, and I'm not saying the online concerts are better, but they're two different things. So
yeah,
um, for instance, recorded music is great to listen to in the car. Recorded music is great to listen in bed while I'm reading a book. I'm not saying
yeah,
listening to recorded music is better than a live concert, but there's a place for online concerts, but it's completely different to the in the flesh concerts. I need a name for the different concerts. There's online concerts and in the flesh concerts. I don't know.
well, we could say like virtual concerts, or
Yeah. But what do
I
we
know,
call
new one.
what do we call the traditional concerts? Maybe virtual concerts and traditional concerts.
Yeah, it's one way. So
Um, oh
you've got a show coming up
yes,
tomorrow, haven't you, on Stageit? So I'll just show them this for a second. So if you go to this link, I'm going to put it in the comments again, stageit.com/Hannah Woolmer. I'll put it there, and it'll bring you to this page, and then all you have to do is scroll down, and you can see Hannah's next show tomorrow, Thursday Fun. There's still some tickets left for that. And it says 8 a.m. because it's based in California. So that is actually 12. No, that's 12 p.m. Brazil time, but it's 4 p.m. UK time, isn't it?
yeah,
That show.
yes.
So there we go. Or if you're in Central Europe, 5 p.m.
Yeah, I always get confused with those.
Isn't it?
The one thing I'm you about is advice
Yeah.
on the technicalities for musicians. So the first time on stage, how do they get it working without too much equipment?
Well, if you need a laptop, basically to do a show there, they did have a mobile app, but they stopped it in January. And before then, I used the mobile app for all my shows. So I've had to switch to laptop, but it's actually okay. I think it works well. And I would recommend actually getting one of these. I got this recently, USB microphone. They're not so expensive from Amazon or your local store that might sell some. Because I think the laptop microphone it's just okay, but obviously a microphone is better.
Yeah.
And then on the website, you can actually set up a sound check to test it and make sure it's streaming okay. So what I do is get another device. Like if you have two laptops, make another account there just to check the picture and the sound is streaming okay. Or you can even get some friends if you send them the link for the sound check, then they can watch it. That's free. They just need the link to join the sound check on their laptop.
And on the screen, isn't there, to make it louder and quieter?
Yes, yeah, you can adjust the volume of your microphone. You can for the picture, you can select a widescreen option as well to make it a bit more bigger.
I didn't know that. You learn something new.
Oh, there you go. Because it's good for me. It's good for piano because it shows all of the keyboards. Then I found.
Yeah.
And did I miss anything?
Talk me through starting a concert. So it's their very first concert. The audience are there.
Yeah.
What happens 5 minutes before the show? How does it go?
So when you've scheduled a show, you've sold some tickets there. On your laptop, just log into Stageit, then click on I think it's the performance thing at the top. Performer.
Upcoming show.
Yeah, so your upcoming shows, and then there's a button that says go to stage, and then it'll bring up your virtual stage where you can check the mic again and everything, and then there's a countdown till the show starts. Just be careful you don't press it before, because it will go live before the start time if you press it.
Yeah.
But I haven't made that mistake, luckily. But I know that from sound checks.
Yeah.
And you get some time if you're a little late for any reason. You get up to like 15 minutes, I think, to start your show.
Yeah. Just stop you there for a second. Do you remember I'm doing all different times in lockdown? I'm now writing all my times in my phone. But do you remember I was messaging you? You're like, don't you have a concert now? I'm like, oh my God, I wrote the wrong time. I got the wrong time. I thought it was in an hour's time.
Yeah.
So get my dress on and run. Yeah. I'm getting better at that.
Yeah, in the worst case, you can just change the show time like 10 minutes ahead or whatever, so it
Yeah.
doesn't cancel the show and it doesn't refund the audience, which it does automatically if you cancel a show.
But it's good.
And then
I
just
would
go.
say you shouldn't do it too often because audiences really don't like it. They're excited. They've
Yeah.
carved out time today to watch you.
Of
They're all
course,
sitting
yeah.
and then you shouldn't just do it because you're busy. It should be a once accidental thing.
Basically, stick to the time you've put there. That will go a long way. Basically,
Yeah.
I know us, some musicians, we're creative, so we're like, oh, we've got all the time, but you need to stick to it.
Organization.
Yeah, and then when you're live, you'll see the countdown. It's usually 30 minutes, so it's counting down, and then you get an extra 20 minutes for encore time, don't you?
I thought it's 15 or 10. Yeah, 15. I think it's 15, not 20.
15. Okay,
Yeah.
15. So then you actually get 45 minutes maximum time to do a show.
But I wouldn't plan for the full 45 minutes because before it just cuts you off. So I would really try before that because you want to say goodbye to the audience. You don't want to be mid-playing and it just cuts off.
Yeah, so Bobby here says, Hannah looks so serious.
No, I don't.
Cool. So I think we'll wrap up in a moment. So any last thing you want to say about Stageit?
Some very great musicians on there at the moment. Well, there's so much on there. It's not just music now. There's people talking about TV shows, TV artists from TV shows who are discussing the shows. There's a drag fest going on with drag queens. There's various performance arts that's away from music. It's a really vibrant place, and I'm loving it. It's great for lockdown. The only thing I think Stageit should do.
Seen those yet.
I haven't watched everything that I've said, but I've watched quite a few. I think Stageit should really work on being able to cast it to your TV.
Yeah, I thought they had that though. Don't they have the Chromecast thing?
Maybe I didn't realize that because I haven't seen
the laptop or something.
I normally just watch it on the laptop, but I haven't seen it. If they have, then they've already.
Yes, it is possible to watch on a good iPhone or iPad, but I'd recommend for the best experience to watch on a laptop and have good headphones as well.
I'm thinking about I'm thinking about getting a cheap projector for my garden soon to watch films. Have the laptop linked up and I can project it. I've got a white screen already, so that would be great. Get that I can watch Stageit concerts on a big projector. That would be amazing. Yeah,
that's cool. I mean, I think some people do connect their laptops to their TV and they can watch.
You can do that.
I'm not. You can watch anything online.
I'm terrible with wires. Like what? Wire? What? No, I can't do wires.
No, famous words there.
Can't do wires. That will be on my grave. Can't do wires.
So here is the link once more for Hannah's Stageit, stageit.com/Hannah Woolmer. Follow her on Twitter as well, and here on Periscope, the same name @Hannah Woolmer.
When is your next concert on Stageit, Daniel?
Mine is on Saturday, actually.
Oh, we must all go.
So I do shows on weekends, really.
Yeah.
I'm playing Mozart this Saturday.
Mozart, what one?
I'm doing the first movement of the Rondo alla Turca Sonata.
Is that how does it go?
Yeah, it's the theme and variations, first movements.
Yeah.
And then I'm planning to do the second and third movement in the next show.
Could you do the one I used to love you doing Beethoven? We heard Valentina play it.
The Tempest.
Yes, I love you doing that.
Yeah, I could do actually in July.
That'd be really
You
nice.
mean the third movement, don't you?
Can you hum it for me?
Yeah. Da, 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 da. Yeah.
Yes, you do it so well.
Yeah. That is a nice piece to play alone, actually, the last movement of that.
Play alone with no one around.
Yeah.
Well, could you play it
Okay, everyone. What, sorry?
I said, well, could you play it for us as well, maybe?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
It's
think
just,
maybe
there was
my
a bit of a
internet's going a
delay.
bit funny. Yeah, if we sort of wrap it up, because it could be my internet going a bit funny.
Okay. So thanks, everyone. Thank you, Busy Mum, Trisha, Martin, Bobby, everyone else who is here watching. And if you're just coming in as well, you can watch this replay in a moment after I finish the broadcast. And thank you to everyone who is watching the recording later on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook as well. So thanks, everyone. Bye.